our trusty C4 here. You're gonna have to learn. Been videoing up and down for 10 minutes.
5 minutes and 46 seconds.
Can't get it together. Oh, it's a damn shame. No real rhyme or reason. It's the way I tape, the way I tape. I just kind of be winging it.
You know, I always think, as many times as you've helped me spray vehicles and mask and everything, you'd probably just get better. But you never did.
Because nobody ever said, hey, you do it this way. You're just like, just tape it.
Yeah. Maybe next time we'll try the blue tape.
Yeah, I think we're sure.
Like,
Creating a line. There is this rubber seal here, so it kind of makes it difficult to get behind, and it lifts up. So, if anybody has any better tips on how they take that off, otherwise we're just planning to use some mineral spirits to get off the like any overspray from the line. But trying to get it as close as possible.
I'm too far away? Or you too far?
I'm too far away.
Pussy nuggets. That's where we're at. Second guess, taking the bumper off. I was gonna pull it, take the headlights out, so I wouldn't have to worry about masking it there. And just hang plastic over the radiator. But I also don't feel like breaking anything today. So I think I'm gonna stick with the tape idea. That's kind of where we went with this one. Tape the line right here, just in case if anything does get in that crack, it'll be a straight line. It looks super clean. You have to mask off this jam, of course, because both doors open and it's a pass-through. Took the door handles off. You have to take the panels off to get to the door handles because they have the lock button on the door handle. So if they didn't have this button on here, then I wouldn't have had to take the panel off.
Stop eating snacks. Do some work.
Oh, my pussy still.
Second one today. Somebody else tap their drinks?
What?
I said, does anybody else tap their drinks? Just me? Okay. You gotta tap it. You gotta tap it. clay bar. Just a fancy name for putty. Use it on the clear coat. Helps take out any extra dirt. Using it before our wrap. This is the boxes we have. We've got a satin top coat, the Nardo Grey, and then the base coat. We went with a light gray tint. You see, this is how it comes. I believe this is 2.5 gallons. So we just went online and ordered the extra large kit. Went with what it said. Still drying, but feels like we have 100,000 coats on here. You can see this is supposed to be Nardo Grey. Maybe it'll dry a little lighter. It does not look like it's the light Nardo like we thought, but still being optimistic. We'll see. All those little specks we had in the paint from, you can kind of see there. We ended up sanding this with 1000 grit because we had some dried, we're guessing dried pigment in the clear, and it made its way through both strainers, both filters, which is amazing. But we sprayed half the car and then realized that all these little flecks were getting in there. So it's only on half the car, but we sanded it down. We're gonna see if it covers. We'll do a couple more coats of the Nardo. Nardo, not Nardo. This is definitely dark. Dark Nardo. And went ahead and remasked some areas. Made sure our lines were clean. You can see there. So we gotta hit some more spots, but learning process. Every time is learning process. To the side. Sanded a couple spots on here where maybe some trash got in it. But that's smooth. Alright, let go. Mostly in the home stretch. Thank God for the C4. Just gotta add the pearl, and that's it. Fingers crossed. Okay, so after we sanded, we did a couple more coats, and also we did a little bit of mineral spirits. We put it in the HVLP gun and sprayed it over the top to kind of thin it out. And look at that. Major difference. So awesome. So it can be fixed, ladies and gents.
Tell people about how we sanded it. People thought we couldn't sand it, but we sanded it anyway.
Yeah. So we are doing the purple pearl pigment, and currently you can see these little white specks are coming up in the pearl, and I've seen other people have had this issue before in the RAAIL group, but unsure of a fix. It's like a powdery, like chalky substance course, like when you're standing back here, you can't see it, but when you're right up close, you know, of course that looks, wow, that looks terrible on camera. But yeah, those specks were not there until we started spraying the pearl. So I don't really know what that is. We're hoping that it'll just wash off or come out, because when we rubbed it off after the first time we saw it, we were able to coat it again in the gray, and then we added some thinner, but of course you can see it's still throwing out some small specks. The other ones were probably twice as large on the initial pass. So unfortunately, not much we can do about it there other than not spray the flake, but customer wanted flake, and we're just gonna go with it and then try and fix it as much as possible when it's complete. So unfortunately, the white specks continued, and apparently it's a problem a lot of people are having with just the AirWrap top coat and pearls. So we're gonna add tint back to the pearl and see if we can't just cover, and unfortunately the pearl will still be there, it just won't be as noticeable, but we'd rather put something quality out than have all these specks in it, because that's really annoying. So hopefully we get it fixed. I've contacted AirWrap or RAAIL and let them know, but wow, look at that. That shift is gorgeous. Woo.
Shut up and sit down.
I wish my camera would do this car justice, because you can kind of see all the flakes, the beautiful glitter flakes, and that color shift is gorgeous. So pretty. Okay, I wanted to do a quick video at the end just because I realized I didn't include some of our fixes in the original video, as well as my thoughts on the product. So as you saw, we actually did sand the base coat down with, I believe, 1,000 grit. Our advice was to do 1,500 grit, you know, at the most, and we ended up doing 1,000, sanded totally fine. As you can see in the video, it covered completely fine. So that's one thing that a lot of people are nervous to do. One thing though for sure is to let that liquid wrap cure in enough time so that you can sand it down. So we let it cure for about 24 hours before we went back and sanded it down and then coated it again. And as you can see, it provided a smooth, beautiful finish after those specks were taken out. So we think it was probably the pigment that got into the gun and shot those specks out, but fix that. Then of course you saw we had the issue in the pearl where it was shooting out these white specks. Wish I had a video, but when you wipe it, it was literally like a chalky powdery substance. And if you've ever sprayed RAAIL before and have had this issue, you know, there really hasn't been a fix or an explanation as to a reason. My husband does a lot with bed liners, polyurea, shield liners. So his thoughts were it could be a moisture scavenger, maybe shooting out, and it was very humid. It had just rained. We're in Texas, it's hot. So maybe it was a moisture scavenger that had kind of shot out and clumped up and turned into that powder. We're still not sure. But my guess is that probably is what it is, because it was actually flat on the surface. It was just white. So what we did was we ended up putting gray tint in there, tinting it just enough, doing several coats with that. It still gave a really nice dimensional pearl, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't vibrant enough for us. So our very last coat, we ended up thinning it out a lot. We used mineral spirits to thin it out, and then we filtered it like 10 times, and then we did one final coat with that, and it just laid out beautifully. We crossed our fingers, you know, it just, thank God it turned out. I thought RAAIL laid down really smooth. Now I've only sprayed DYC one other time, but RAAIL was really straightforward. I loved that it came in a satin finish, versus the Proline series for DYC is a matte. And as far as I know, they don't have a gloss. RAAIL comes in a spherical gloss that you can use, or they just released the V2, which I haven't used yet, either of those, but the V2 is a semi-gloss, and they also have matting agents if you want more of a matte look. So love that. I absolutely love the color, the way that it turned out. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't the color that I thought I had ordered, so that was a con to that, but otherwise customer loved it. Of course it was just different. The Mardi Gras Pearl was actually a blue, green, purple, white color shift, but as you can see in the video, it just completely pulled that purple, and just, that was pretty much all it showed. You could see a couple hues of green, but it's still, at the end of the day, it really turned out to be a beautiful color. Made my personal vehicle look like hell. It was a beautiful, smooth finish. There's a few things I think, you know, we just realized that we would do differently next time and try differently, but otherwise the way that the product laid down, you know, not being scared to just try it. It seemed like everything was fixable and we didn't have to peel anything. It just couldn't have gone, well, it could have gone better. I'll take that back. It could have gone better. But overall, it ended up going really well, and we are looking forward to the next experience, and I will definitely be purchasing from RAAIL again. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any tips or questions, drop them below. I'd be happy to respond. Thanks, guys.